This made me cry like a baby. I saw this picture of her in the hospital because they showed all these at court, and he hit her so hard he popped a blood vessel, so her eye was bright red, like bright red.
Oh, God.
So tell me again how she beat you up, you piece of shit.
Yeah, even if she did hit him or something, it's not... She didn't do that to him, you know.
And I also, I'm just going to add this because I'd already written all this and I had gotten this far in the case. And then I found this little blurb that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Sandalay was a married father of 3 estranged from his wife.
Oh.
Like, I read all this stuff and I just assumed.
Yeah, some random
and they were
single
dating.
Yeah.
But no, he was married and had kids.
Nice.
But estranged from his wife.
Okay.
So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters, but.
More about him.
Fun fact about Sandalay. Okay, so it's about to get really weird.
Okay.
It's already horribly tragic, but do you remember how I mentioned a large part of her body was missing?
Yes.
If you couldn't forget. During the trial, it came out that around 60% of her body and internal organs were missing, including her heart. Her skull and part of her rib cage were all that were left of her upper body. Her heart and the rest of her body have never been found. And that's not, I'm going to get more into it. We're not done.
What?
Okay, I'll just go.
Trigger warning?
There's no trigger word. It's just crazy.
Okay.
Her murder is believed to be a ritualistic killing.
Oh.
Okay, so now I'm going to get into more details of the crime and like what a lot of people think is the motive.
Yeah.
So according to witnesses, and they actually had 4 or 5 witnesses who came forward and all kind of said the same thing. Months prior to her death, Sandalay had taken Karabo, quote, to a certain place where they had to do this ritual. The witness said that Sandalay and Karabo were both cut and their blood was mixed together. The purpose of this ritual was to tie them together in terms of a relationship and also to help them financially. So Karabo and Sandalay apparently had a foreign exchange business together and they wanted it to be successful. So they went to the, they went and did this ritual.
Kind of
like,
witchy or something.
Yeah, like cut them and mix their blood together and did this whole thing, right? And it was said like, oh, now you're bound together, like you'll be in a relationship forever and your business will be successful. Like you guys are tied together.
Sure.
One of the, quote, conditions of the ritual, this is all per witnesses, like some people who were there, quote, should they ever separate, one would need to be sacrificed in order to still attain the goals and purpose of the ritual. And like I said, other witnesses corroborated the same story. So now you have these people who went into this ritual, and part of the ritual was like, yeah, if you get this ritual binds you together, and if you ever break up, one of you has to die.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's insane. But it is important to note the court. It was kind of funny. I watched court like videos of like court, and it's in South Africa, but it was like, it looked very old-timey. The judge or constable, whatever they call him, was wearing like a red velvety kind of shirt with like it was just a very old-timey like uniform.
Maybe British influence or something.
Oh, it looked very British. He actually, he sounded kind of British.
Yeah, well, people in South Africa, their accents sound like New Zealand British, kind of a mix, because of the British.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It is important to note the court would not hear, so a lot of this came out, and then people were like, oh, he's in a cult, like there were all this weird stuff, like that it's cult related or it's a ritual. The court would not hear it. The cult was like, I don't even want you talking about that at trial.
Yeah.
So the prosecutor stayed away, didn't pursue it, because she's like, the court doesn't accept it as valid. Like the court literally shut it down. They were like, we don't want to hear about this ritualistic shit at trial, which is kind of crazy, but they were like, nope, we don't accept it.
Yeah, well, also because that's not a good excuse to kill someone. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, so my next point, his motive was argued by the prosecutor that he was an abusive boyfriend and didn't want her to leave him. Like, duh. Like, that's all you need. You don't even need the ritual. And, like, I think there's some validity to the ritual because so many people came forward, but you're still an abusive piece of shit.
But at the same time, you've hurt her so extremely before, and that usually escalates. Yeah. So...
Yeah. Whether that happened or not. At the end of the trial, Sandalay was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 32 years, which is not enough.
Nope.
Yeah, 32 years. But I'm going to say, so that's the end of that case, but there's a few more things I want to talk about. This case led me down a whole other path that I really want to talk about because, so when you look up her case, I don't even remember how I stumbled upon her case, but when you find her case, every article that talks about her also talks about violence against women in South Africa. Karabo is a very, like everyone knows about her death because she's just another woman who was killed by of her boyfriend in South Africa. After looking at her, I started looking at violence against women in South Africa and all this different stuff. Wow. And I want to talk a little bit about that because you can't look up her without that being part of it. Murders of women and young girls, also called femicide, is disgustingly common in South Africa as in other places. But the sentences handed down are not enough, as we saw with Sandalay. 30 years is not enough.
No.
According to africacheck.org, and I saw UNICEF also confirmed this. One woman is murdered every 3 hours in South Africa. Oh. They rank number 4 in the world for violence against women.
South Africa's not that large when you look at the grand scheme of things, or in general. But
the murder of Karabo, along with other murders, and so I wasn't sure if I wanted to get into them or not, but I found this and there were just too many. I found this article, and it was like the day they found Karabo's body, another woman was shot, and this one was shot, and this one was stabbed, and this one was raped. Like it's bad. So because all this is happening, like, Karabo is very tied to this because she was kind of the last straw. Her death and some right around the same couple days sparked, like, protests and huge outrage in South Africa. And this part is kind of funny, but not. So a lot of hashtags started trending around this time. So hashtag men are trash. Hashtag my body, not your crime scene.
Yes to that one. Yes. Chelsea, Milk Shirt Company. Yeah. Make a shirt.
Hashtag hands off our girls.
Yep.
Hashtag hands off. And hashtag am I next? And then hashtag, that's heartbreaking. There's a lot of women holding up, like, am I next? Because the punishments don't seem to be
next?
bad.
Apparently you just let them out. So. Yeah.
And then hashtag total shutdown, which I feel like happened in America too. So these were all trending like wildfire. But essentially the hashtag total shutdown, they picked this day for protests, and they were urging people, and even men, they were like, men, if you want to support this, they were urging people not to spend anything, not to spend any money out in the economy, go out to eat.
Just really shut down everything.
Yeah, not to send money on PayPal, literally just to kind of shut down the economy for one day to draw attention. Like, it made me think of Kaepernick bending the knee. Like, you're doing something that doesn't relate to it, but you were like, I'm going to do this thing because then everyone's going to look at me and I want to draw attention.
Or even like the 1% stuff that happened. Yeah. Now that was so long ago. It was years ago. But even those kind of protests. Yeah. Just because, shut down Wall Street.
Yeah, exactly. Because shutting down the economy has nothing to do with women getting murdered,
but it does.
But you're gonna fucking get people to listen to you. Yeah. In 2019, South Africa declared gender-based violence as a national crisis, and I read this article where they interviewed the president, came out and spoke, and he was basically like, we know it's a problem. The laws on domestic violence and sexual assaults are being reviewed, and that's it. And I tried really hard. I even Googled, I was like, how to help South Africa, like, because I wanted to give more.
Also, I don't know.
But there, like, I couldn't find, I mean, of course you can always donate to UNICEF but I couldn't find anything specifically that was like, donate to this because they're doing something for South Africa. It was really just South Africa's trying to better their laws and women are protesting, but her story is horrifying, but it's not. And in the U.S., like, anywhere. And I know men are, gender-based violence men are killed too, but
it's different because the rates that happens with women all over the first world and the third world are not at all like anything else. It's just so common. And most women who are killed, as you know, if you follow true crime, like, you're more likely to be killed by someone you love or know than anyone else.
Yeah. And it's not just murder, it's rape. Like,
or,
I just gave statistics for murder, but when they say gender-based violence, it's rape too. Like,
yeah, well, and in the States alone, I think the statistics, I could be wrong. Last I looked, they were like 1 in 4, 1 in 5 experience rape or sexual assault, but that's just what's reported. Yeah. When I know many, many people who it's like, this one girlfriend of mine reported it, and these 5 didn't. Like, there's something crazy happening outside. Let's pause to see if you can hear it.
Oh my God. The second she said that, it stopped. Someone was blasting their music, and literally as soon as she said it stopped. You have some magical power, Matilda.
That was weird. Well, at least it's gone now. There was someone playing really loud music outside.
And it's hard because I don't know. It's just fucked up.
Yeah.
I know men are killed, and I know women can be abusive. Absolutely. It's a lot more rare. Men are so much physically stronger naturally than women. Like, so even if, and I don't fucking believe it for a second, but let's say Sandalay wasn't lying and she beat him up. She could hit you and you won't flinch. But you punch her, like, it's just...
You busted her eyeball.
It doesn't compare physically.
No. And that's the thing, too, is it's... As much as equality is something that women seem to fight for more than men because men obviously are the ones in the place of privilege, at least in the United States. We can never deny that there are differences between the sexes, but that doesn't mean we can be treated differently.
Well, right. Like, one great example that I've said before is like, okay, a man who has never worked out, right? Like, could be out of shape, eats McDonald's every day, whatever. Yeah. I bet, like, I'm not talking someone, like, really, like, obese or something, but you take an average man guy who doesn't work out, I bet he can jump on a bar and do at least one pull-up. Just because that...
He'd kick my ass, and I work out almost every day.
Women have to work for months or, like, a year to be able to build the upper... Like, we're just not... Men are born with this strength. So there's no, like... You can physically hurt a woman in a way we can't. Not all men, not all women.
Of course, overall.
But it's a fucking problem we need to talk about. And I really wanted to, when I saw her case, and then I saw these articles linked of all these problems in South Africa, I was like, I want to fucking talk about that. Because I don't just want to talk about America or the UK, or like, I want to talk about fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm so angry.
This episode made me really mad. And it was both about, like, assault on women.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, every episode ends up pretty much being... Have we done assault on men?
No, but we should. We should, because I don't want to ignore that either. I don't
want it to be a theme to make it like a special thing, but there just are less cases, so it's harder to come by when you're researching. Well,
and I do know, too, that, you know, women are not likely to... Like, I think they say, like... half of rapes aren't reported, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we don't know how many. It could be more. It could be less. Yeah. Like, we don't know because they're unreported, obviously. But I also do recognize that, so in our society, men are supposed to be muscular and strong and all
stoic.
These things. There's probably a lot of unreported assaults on men because men can be raped.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's this... It's hard for women to come forward, but I will say, like, quote unquote, it's a little bit easier to come forward than it is for men.
That. Yeah.
Because women are, but it's for shitty reasons, though. It's because women are seen as weaker. So as the huge air quotes weaker people, it's easy to come forward and say we were beat up. Yeah. But as a man who's supposed to, like, our society just fucked up, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I hope
you could argue both sides until you're blue in the face, but it's heartbreaking, and it's...
And it's horrible for everyone who's a victim, regardless of anything.
Yeah.
So
we could draw attention to violence against women. We could draw attention to violence against trans... Like, there's always, you know... Like, I would love to talk more about violence against transgender people or, you know, LGBTQ community. Like, you could pick any... you could plug in any violence against blank. You could plug in anyone there, and we could talk about it forever.
Because people...
Now I'm depressed. I'm just... Okay.
That was rough.
Can we end on a good note? What is a good thing that happened this week? Let's restore some faith in humanity.
Yes. Listeners, think about something good.
Did you see... Actually, you know what I would love to hear from you guys? Whether it was you... Sarah's like, what do you want to hear from... whether it was you or someone you know or someone you saw, some act of kindness that you have either done or witnessed. Ooh. I would love to hear... Like, I want our inbox to be fucking flooded. Yes. I will say, okay, it's not really, I don't know if it's an act of kindness, but one thing I saw last night that I
have one.
Okay, I almost wanted to pay for it. So I went and got my nails done last night. There was a mom and her young son. He was in I was kind of listening, so he said he was in second grade. They were getting pedicures.
Cute.
And it was very clear, by the way, you know, she was talking to the nail tech, and I was eavesdropping.
Sure.
But
everyone does that in a nail
salon. I know. That's what nail salons are for. Nail salons and hair salons. Yeah. But she was a single mom, raising her son alone, and she was talking about how she bought a house out in Florence, which is far away. Yeah. But she drives in every day to bring her son to a good school in Gilbert. But she bought out there because she's a single mom and it's cheaper. So, like, I'm just listening and I'm like, you're amazing. And then I felt bad because I just assume that if her son's getting a pedicure, he's probably just getting his feet scrubbed. Yeah. Well, then she goes to her son, she goes, which color did you choose? And he goes, blue. And she goes, I learned so much about that. I feel like a dick because I was eavesdropping. She was talking about how he did karate. She's saying all this to the nail tech, not to me, but I was listening. Yeah. But then she was like, oh, blah, 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 your karate teacher hasn't seen your toes painted in a while. You know, he'll like this color. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't fall under act of kindness. But I just kept thinking, like...
Restores faith in humanity.
Yeah, but I was like, how just incredible that you're raising him to not conform to gender stereotypes or, like, you're taking your second grade son to get a pedicure and letting him get his toes painted blue.
Because you know why? Men should be able to enjoy the same things women enjoy and vice versa.
But I don't know, it really warmed my heart in a weird way, but I was like, but you're teaching him that, like, this isn't a woman's thing or
No,
a female
it's just a
thing, or
human
like,
thing.
oh, you can get a pedicure, but you can't pay